afternoon, Northwest, and welcome to the September edition of Husky Headlines. I'm Anaya Zaman.
And I'm Lily Mesmer.
Since school began, students have been a lot less distracted in classrooms. Here's why.
When students returned to school, they noticed a new district policy regarding personal device use in classrooms. This policy started after administrators across the district saw an issue within their buildings.
Not only were the principals talking about that, but our Board of Education, they were asking some questions about what that looked like in our schools, and our principals then had conversations with one another. They worked up those expectations, and then those were presented to the board.
One of the things we were working on all last year was structured expectations for Northwest, so that clarified the ways that we would expect students to act in certain areas of the building. And so we had already been drafting that document in the areas of passion, purpose, pride. And so when we were looking at our classroom expectations over the summer and knowing that there would be perhaps some changes to the district electronic device policy, we drafted the language in our structured expectations.
Teachers have noticed multiple improvements in their classrooms with the new policy. However, students have a more conflicted view.
It's made my classroom smoother because now I know that the whole building is doing it. We all agree, we all are on the same page. Definitely the focus is better in the classroom this year, completely. There's a whole new change, I think. And kids, I think, are starting to interact a little more with each other.
I feel like I don't usually abuse the privilege of having my phone too much. I think it can be used for academic purposes. Like, I needed to submit my homework to Canvas and stuff. So I think it's a little bit unnecessary.
I think that the phone policy is good. I just don't like that we can't take it with us when we leave the classroom. But it definitely keeps people off their phone in class and actually learning instead of just sitting on Brawl Stars.
Teachers are given discretion on whether phones can be used for classroom purposes, but regardless of what students think, the administration appreciates that students are respecting the new rule.
I've just been so impressed and so proud of our students for doing it so well and being so mature about it.
The new district phone policy is something that students will have to work with. Now we will have to wait as the State Board of Education plans to make their own decision. This is Anaya Zaman for Husky Headlines.
A familiar face has returned to Northwest as an administrator. Jack tells us which staff member has been cheering on the Huskies.
As many of you know, this year we welcomed Assistant Principal Michael Richards to our school. Before becoming our Assistant Principal and Athletic Director, he had a long history with Northwest and the Blue Valley School District, which started at Oxford Middle School.
By chance, really. I student taught in Shawnee Mission at Indian Woods Middle School, and then I was fortunate enough to get a long-term sub deal at a high school. And then I realized high school was a little much for me at that time, so I knew I wanted to be back in middle school. And I interviewed at Oxford, and Miss Crosswaite and Miss Dom just were so welcoming. I couldn't pass that up.
While he was at Oxford, he tried to leave a good impact on his students.
He taught at Oxford when I was in middle school. And my sister had him, so she always talked about how great he was, so I always looked forward to getting him as a teacher. So 7th grade is when I met him. I got him for 7th grade science, and he also started a club called Men of Excellence during that time where he just had meetings with middle school boys and he would teach us life skills. So he was always very supportive and made sure we were our best selves.
Richard started his career at Northwest as a football coach and freshman girls basketball coach. This is when he began working to make students feel welcome.
Just my interest in sports led me to do that, and I was always looking to get more involved and providing a positive experience for a kid. There's not a lot that gets better than that.
Sports-wise, he always created a really positive environment for everyone where everyone could have fun and improve their skills, and he made everyone feel really welcome. Being a part of his team really helped give me a place at the school and find some friends and people to reach out to, so it kind of helped me establish myself at the school and find new people to talk to.
After spending 2 years at Leawood Middle School, Richards wanted to come back to Northwest as an administrator to provide an even bigger impact on the school. One of his goals is to bring everyone in BVNW closer together.
Just goes back to that comment about wanting to make a bigger impact on the school. You know, you're a teacher and you have 100 kids coming to your classroom every day, and that's awesome, and you form relationships with them. You know, you see them at games and stuff like that, and that felt good. And I was like, okay, I want to do this on a bigger scale. I want to try to move a building in a direction, creating that culture of one. You know, when I was here as a teacher and a coach, we had one Northwest. That term got coined when I was here. And I'm afraid we're getting a little far away from that, right? And one NW, it's all of us, right? We all need to be on the same page, supporting each other and bringing the energy and bringing the juice and celebrating our kids.
Richards is very enthusiastic about his new position at Northwest. He hopes to continue to improve and encourage Husky pride. This is Jack Cowan for Husky Headlines.
One of Richard's goals is to increase school spirit. We go to Ellie to hear more.
I believe that we will win! 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 I believe that we will win!
School spirit goes way beyond the colors purple and white in the Friday night crowds. School spirit is responsible for making Blue Valley Northwest a community where everyone feels welcome.
My biggest goal this year is to get more students involved. We had the virtual activity fair this year, which meant we were really able to open it up to more kids for them to see how they can get involved. What we as a team would like to see more of is positive school spirit at events that students already attend, but also more attendance at underattended events. I think that comes kind of through communication.
School spirit has taken a hit since COVID, and Northwest staff and students are developing ways to reinvigorate the student body. Changes are already being implemented with success.
There wasn't really a lot of spirit last year, and we're wanting to make it better. We got confetti cannons. We're definitely wanting to be a lot louder than we were last year, and we just want to increase the number of people coming.
So we're trying something new this year. We are going to turn the dog walk into a homecoming dog walk.
We're hoping that what this will do is encourage more participation in all these groups that Northwest has to offer all in one night, and then kind of by default maybe get more people to the football game.
Creating school spirit will be the responsibility of everyone involved with Blue Valley Northwest.
We're hoping to make the student sections more fun and make people want to come to all the games.
When it comes to events, having somebody show up, having more signs, having more spirit, more involvement. And so I think we have so much great energy in this school and great spirit in the school, and we just need to learn how to harness it. And so we don't want this to be just seniors. We do need our underclassmen to really step up.
Many people do not grasp the importance of school spirit. It has the power to create academic and athletic success. It establishes a positive attitude among students and therefore various staff. With this energetic group, BVNW is going to have a great year. This is Ellie Votipka for Husky Headlines.
We asked students what they thought about school spirit. Here's what they said.
In this edition of Husky Pause, we talked to students about their thoughts on spirit at Northwest.
I think the number one way you can promote school spirit is showing up and showing out to every game, all the different sports and activities, support each other. Like Big Al here, he's the manager for football and basketball. He shows up to everything, right, Al?
Always. We would like to see more participation from our seniors and juniors. And show out. Show out.
We just need to change our shirts more to the color thing. Otherwise, we're cool.
Yeah, I definitely wish our school had a lot more school spirit. I think we can change that just with more people showing up to football games and sports events and stuff like that.
I wish people would go harder with their outfits and go and get different stuff instead of just wearing whatever they have.
I want more people to dress up for Spirit Week.
More people participate in it and have it more school participation, I think.
Definitely a lot more participation, I think, would be cool.
I hope we're more excited and just more as a community and just being together as one.
Speaking of spirit, the school up north has been our biggest opponent since Northwest opened. Eli tells us more about this intense rivalry.
Jim, you hear that? You hear that, Jim? That's the calling, Jim! That's the calling, Jim! Come on, Jim! Oh my God.
Here comes your Husky!
Blue Valley Northwest versus Blue Valley North. It's not just a rivalry. It's a tale as old as time. A tale that spans over several decades and dozens of sports, over championships, and it has always been intense. But how did it begin?
Really, the way the rivalry began, there were two high schools at the time in Blue Valley. There was Blue Valley High School and then Blue Valley North. When Northwest opened, there were students from North that came over and there were some students from High that came over. And prior to us opening up, the rivalry really was between Blue Valley High School and Blue Valley North. When we opened up, we were much more similar to North than we were to High, so we became the rivals, and there are some years that we are better and some years that they're better. I mean, that's what makes a rivalry fun. The biggest difference, I think, between us and North is we're better in every way.
And it's not just the students who take it personal.
Yes, it's definitely still personal. It's always a big game. It's always a big deal. And I know that's something that we joke about when a player makes our soccer program, or I meet someone of like, hi, welcome to Northwest, and we hate North. Like, it's just something that it seems all schools have one big rival, and I think it's fun. It makes it exciting. I think the rivalry always goes a bit too far. I think there have always been games where it seems like there's some sort of scuffle. I think there's always that with the energy that comes with the rivalry. Unfortunately, that's the other side of the excitement. We are always expecting that the game is extremely high energy. That one of the things we tell our boys at practice is the team who is the calmest, the team who is the most focused, wins the game.
And if you ask the players themselves, they'll tell you the energy they want to bring.
It's a hatred. They don't work. They don't want it like we do. We want it more.
It's safe to say that the Huskies and the Mustangs will be fighting for the upper hand for years to come. This is Eli Dunley for Husky Headlines.
When it comes to football, our rivalry with North is unmatched.
The Northwest football team has some talented players, so we put our very own Game Day Gordo up against our O-line for this show's edition of H2 Versus.
Welcome back to H2 Versus, where we put H2 staff members up against some of our most talented students and teachers. This month, our own H2 staff member, Gordon Alcock, takes on senior football team members Andrew Babaloa and Brock Keith. This is H2 Versus O-line.
I've been playing football since kindergarten, tackle football since 2nd grade. But offensive line, I like that you can kind of take your anger out on people. Your job is to move people out of the way and just kind of like physically just like dominate another person. I feel like that's always been a great way for me to express myself. I've always been a bigger person, so it's been easier, and I've always liked it.
I started playing football my freshman year of high school. I started playing because the coaches here encouraged me to, and once I started playing it, I realized that I loved it and decided to stick with it.
We had Alcock learn to see exactly what it takes to play the O-line position with the little amount of experience he had.
I have absolutely zero experience playing O-line or really competitive football in general.
Although Alcock's athletic skill set is different from the football players, his soccer skills still aided him in the game. Heath and Babaloa seem to agree.
Gordon, for his first time ever putting on a helmet and pads, very athletic. Me and Andrew were pretty good at our jobs, and he wasn't bad. I'll give him that. He wasn't bad, but definitely not anywhere close to stepping on the varsity field.
I think it benefited him most was his feet, being able to move, because, and obviously in soccer, you're always moving, and so that translates to playing O-line.
The soccer background did help me a little bit of leg strength in there, a little bit of quick feet per se. I think if I maybe had 200 extra pounds and could squat 450, then I maybe would have had a solid future as an O-lineman.
Being on O-line is more difficult than people think, but Alcock feels he learned from the two best. Both Heath and Babaloa are being recruited by Division I schools across the country.
Not a lot of people who watch football understand what our job is. Most people don't even understand football, so just get some light into that, and also just showcase that it's not easy what we do. I think the hardest thing about playing offensive line and even defensive line is just the constant battering on your body, because our positions like a receiver or quarterback, they'll go 10 plays without getting hit. I'd say is the hardest thing for most people.
I think the hardest thing about playing online is just all the mental preparation that goes into it. The remembering plays, assignments, stuff like that. Some advice I would give somebody who wants to play online, I just say be confident, and as well be tough. Really just toughness and confidence are the biggest two things to play online.
I think they explained things really well. Brock kind of just took everything step by step. He went with the stance and how you get off of the stance and how you block and everything. He was a pretty good teacher. Babs was good. He helped out with everything as well. They were good models. It was actually really interesting, I would say.
Next time you go to a football game, make sure to be on the lookout for Heath, Babaloa, and the rest of the offensive line. This is Rylan Jar for Husky Headlines.
Great job, Gordo. We now check in with him to see how the rest of our student athletes are doing this fall.
Good afternoon, Blue Valley Northwest. This is Husky Sports Network, and as the intro suggests, I am Game Day Gordo. It's a new year, and the Huskies have kicked off the fall season with a head of steam, so let's get right into it. Behind a 131-yard, 2-touchdown rushing performance from junior LJ Bowens, football began the season strong, running all over the school up north on their way to a 34-13 win. In Week 2, the Huskies dismantled Shawnee Mission Northwest 38-7, recovering 4 fumbles against the Cougars' option attack. They traveled to Topeka Friday to take on Washburn Rural. Next up is girls tennis. They opened the season with a 12-0 drubbing of Bishop Miege before taking a hard-fought 6-4 victory at Blue Valley. Their next match is Thursday at home versus Blue Valley West. Girls volleyball sprinted out to a 4-0 start this season, including a senior night domination of Olathe East before dropping a few matches in the Olathe South volleyball tournament. Coming off of some early success, I talked to Coach Haggerty in this month's edition of HSN One-on-One. Undefeated start to the season so far, senior night victory. Talk a little bit about how the team's been able to put together success early.
Yeah, so it's been really fun to get to see these girls kind of come into their own, figure out who they want to be, what they want this team to represent, and everybody just kind of grasping onto their new roles, whether it's a leadership position, whether it's the person that we give the ball to 90% of the time.
And talk about leaders. Obviously this year losing Remy Nuss and Lainey Douglas. Who do you think is going to step up into those roles?
We've already seen quite a few kiddos step up. Our seniors, Marley Burbach and Summer Anderson, have been amazing. With the younger freshmen that we have starting on our team this year, and then our junior class is pretty heavy, and they have all been really great about kind of blending that gap between inexperience and the more veteran players.
Looking ahead a little bit, are there any games specifically you've got circled on the schedule? Anything you're looking forward to?
Every single night in this EKL is brutal, so we are really kind of embracing, us being seen as the underdog and upsetting some teams this year, and then really going out and just learning to just be gritty and persevere and just fight through and know that, no win in this league or anybody that we play around here is going to be an easy win, so just know that we have to fight for every win that we get this season.
That's all. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
The Huskies' next match will be a triangular tonight at Bishop Miege. Boys soccer started out the season with a double OT stalemate against North before a quick turnaround at the Fat Cat tournament where they finished 5th, picking up a dramatic victory over Lee's Summit North. At press time, they had a record of 2-2-1 and will face off with Blue Valley West on the road tonight. The cross-country team started their season out with the Greg Wilson Classic at JCCC, competing against some out-of-state competition. For the boys, sophomore Jacob D'Souza finished 6th overall and senior Jay Durham finished 14th. As a team, the boys finished 6th of 11. The girls finished 10th of 13. They will run again tomorrow at Blue Valley Southwest for the Canis Lupus Cup. Rounding out the report today is girls golf. In their first tournament on September 11th, they finished 7th overall against EKL competition. And that's a wrap on the first HSN report of the year. I am Game Day Gordo, and remember to stay sporty, Northwest. Now let's kick it over to Sophie as she covers the retirement of a Northwest legend.
At Northwest, golf is one of the many extracurriculars that students can choose to get involved in. But this season will be the last for head coach Rob Meacham, who will be hanging up his golf cleats at the end of the year.
Love the sport. It wasn't something that I did competitively in high school or college. Tennis was my sport, but loved doing it, loved working with the kids. I was already coaching soccer. A golf opportunity came open and I took it. I love the camaraderie. Season-wise, there's been a lot of successful seasons, and there's been a lot of seasons where it's like things don't go just the way we planned it, but kind of that working together for a common goal.
Meacham has made many students feel like they are welcome within the golf community and has made a positive impact within our school's sports customs.
I was a little scared about high school golf because I kind of felt like you might have pressures from teammates or coaches, but he's just super supportive. I might just be really scared and he'd say things like, oh, don't worry about it. In the end, it's just game. It'll all be okay.
I would say going to state was super fun with the team. Even though we didn't have that grit of a first day, it was still a lot of fun.
Meacham's positivity has made his students all the more sad by his sudden retirement from coaching.
We sort of found out yesterday at one of the practices, and we were all a little shocked, especially because while we knew he's retiring from school in general in 2 years, we weren't really expecting him to retire from golf a year early. It's sort of my last year. He's retiring right before I become a senior. I mean, I'm happy for him, obviously, but it's a little sad.
It's also my last year too, so we're kind of going away at the same time. I think he brought a lot to the team as a coach. He always had a good mindset, and he was always there to encourage you when you were struggling. But I know they'll have somebody good to replace him.
Meacham has been working in this field for 28 years, and with his extensive knowledge, the golf community at BVNW appreciates the countless hours that they spent with their head coach.
the game itself, how much it has to teach us about everyday living, the discipline it takes to work on the game, that there's constant disappointments and you got to overcome those, the honesty and integrity it takes to play the game, and kind of all that, really a blueprint for kind of living a successful everyday life.
As his retirement from the game he loves approaches, many of his athletes will be sad to see him go. Like the girls' team here in the fall, the boys' team will look forward to one more season with Meacham in the spring. This is Sophie Peterson for Husky Headlines.
BV&W has many activities that students can get involved in. We go to Scarlett to tell us about 2 unique clubs that we have.
There are many ways to get involved at Northwest. With the wide variety of activities including sports and clubs, it can be difficult to figure out where you fit in. 2 such clubs you can join are Crochet Club and the new Robotics Club.
We crochet, but we also have sales every once in a while, usually once per semester, and we create our products and then we sell them during lunch, and with the money we get, we donate it to charities.
If you're not interested in crocheting, there are other options as well. A new Robotics Club has formed this year and is looking to dive into their work.
A student here really wanted to get it started and has kind of started the movement for it. There's been some stuff we've had to set up as like a first year team. Still need to order parts and get set up. We're going to brainstorm a lot about like the best way to design a robot with engineering principles that can accomplish that task.
Robotics can have an important impact on people's lives, on encouraging innovation and more.
It's a lot of STEM stuff, science and engineering principles, and solve engineering issues and things like that.
Clubs are not only a place to crochet or to build a robot, but also a community to be a part of.
It gives them a place that they can come and show what they have done, learn new techniques, and just have a good time with their friends or find other people that do crochet.
For many people, there is a deeper meaning to clubs than what meets the eye.
It's made me more of a giving person, and I feel like really honored that I have the space to like help other people, and like I should use my privilege to help other people and donate to charities.
It's an outlet. It's a way to relax. I think it's also fun for them. They get to come in here and they talk. They get to express themselves in a different way and then make some money off of it too.
Everyone's going to need a resume at some point if you're trying to get a job, and I think it's good if you can find clubs that kind of align with what you're applying for.
Being involved enhances your high school experience.
You need to be involved. You know, find your village, find your people that you want to be with, and clubs offer that. They give you that choice of what you want to do. There's no pressure, there's nobody that's going to look down on you, and they give you a chance to be yourself.
Reach out and join a club today to find your community within Northwest. This is Scarlett Chu for Husky Headlines.
This week, students have noticed decorations around the main staircase and the 200 hallways. Here's the reason why.
Northwest is home to many people of many different backgrounds. Husky Headlines is going to be highlighting some of them in our new segment, Husky Worldwide. In our first show, we will be highlighting Hispanic culture and how students are raising awareness to it.
We basically have a little space where Hispanics and Latinos of the school can get together and celebrate our culture, as well as like showcase our culture to other people. Especially this year, try to help them outside of the club with volunteering work and reunions with other clubs in the district.
Specifically this year, we want to focus more on community service, because last year was more like getting the club started and like getting people to know each other. But this year we want to actually like provide to the community as well, because our club is growing a little more, so we really want to show that we care about the school, we care about our people in the club. And I think it's important to see all the hard work we put in to help out everybody around us.
The impact of this club goes beyond the halls of Northwest and impacts their families.
My dad has been working in the cooking industry, and he was working as an employee, but then he made his company and his own food truck.
The impact in me is really, really important because this is my principal business in Kansas. So it's very important for me to make a special food for American people, for Hispanic people, to try to make different plates. This is real Mexican food. This is my word, this card, this business is really, really important for me because I love make up food. I love when they get the feedback about my food. That was amazing for me. people say, oh, your food is really good.
It's called Taco-ish, and he works hard every night and day. It's a whole process. He cooks all the food, the chicken, the steak. There's also pork, shrimp, tacos, and it's really, really delicious.
Learning the ins and outs of other cultures can help each person better understand things that they don't always get exposed to.
I think it's very important to remind people that cultures exist, and it's like not within that culture there's multiple cultures. Just like remind people there's not only one country that speaks Spanish.
I think people should know that not just Hispanics, but everybody's working hard to obviously make a life out of themselves. So I think my dad's a great representation of that.
Not only is community and hard work shown in this culture throughout all types of communities in the Hispanic heritage, but so is the food and how it brings everyone together. This is Lily Mesmer for Husky Headlines.
It is important to learn about different groups of people in our community.
Speaking of community, 2 students at Northwest often volunteer in order to give back.
At BVNW, many students do work to help their community. What started as 2 students volunteering at a food pantry in Westport to earn NHS hours has turned into a life-changing opportunity for them and many others.
Guardian Angels itself is like a parish, so it's like a Catholic church, but the food bank specifically is kind of on this like offside building that's in like the basement. I was just trying to find like a service opportunity for NHS, and I ended up on the Harvester's website, and it was just like food bank in KCMO, and I was like, sure, I'll do that. And then I ended up just staying because I loved it so much.
My friend Juliet, she told me to come down here one time, and I was like, going to the food bank sounds like something that would really be cool. Just being here, having a presence, and letting people know that there are people that are there for them and supporting them, and just giving them a big smile. That's part of serving Guardian Angels.
Wynn and Nagar's commitment to the pantry helps those around them and impacts their community despite not taking up much of their time.
This is major. So when you're hungry, it's hard to be nice to your kids. It's hard to make it to your job. It's a hierarchy of needs. And so when you're in survival mode, it is really hard to balance what you need to do in a day. But just above that is connection. And so the impact we have, we help people stay in their homes. We help people get their medication. We help people be kinder to their family members because they're no longer hungry.
I almost passed away in July, and I'm alive and I'm still here. So the food pantry has helped in so many ways with meats, food, produce, motivation. You got to give back to where you start. These people are here to help people in need. I was in need, and so now I'm coming out of my need at the point where I can give back. And they help me get back because I have nourishment, I have food, and I have just great relationships with the people here.
Volunteering at the food pantry not only impacts those they help, but it also impacts who they are as people.
I used to think that it was just for the volunteer hours, but really it's not about that anymore at all. And I just love going here because it's like all the people are here and the community that's here, and I love helping people.
It means something when you're actually a part of your community and helping people. It just helps when you know you have someone that cares about you.
If you're looking for a place to help the community that's closer to home, you can contact the Blue Valley Food Pantry by making an appointment online, or you can also go to Guardian Angels by showing up on Sundays 10 to 12 p.m. or Wednesdays 4 to 5. This is Salma Salem for Husky Headlines.
That's all for this month's edition of Husky Headlines.
Have a good day, Northwest.